Computer hacks have gotten a lot of attention lately, but one company has a technology, an independent platform that may be able to help prevent some of these. And with me to explain more about this is Alain Ghiai, who is the CEO of GlobeX Data. So great to have you with us.
Great to have you, Jane, and hello to everybody who's watching us.
Yes, so if you could just explain, because of course we went through the Colonial Pipeline situation, there seems like there's a hack, every week. Explain what your company does and how it is different than some of the technology platforms that we're seeing right now.
Sure. So gladly, we are a Swiss-based technology company. I'm from Switzerland myself. We do have operations and a publicly traded company in Canada. And in the US, we have our subsidiary as well. We trade under ticker SwissF. What we do is we developed a suite of communication tools, such as email, messaging, backup, and file share under the brand Secure or on Secure Safe. So what Secure does, spelled S-E-K-E-U-R, what we do is we developed a proprietary email system and a proprietary messaging system with privacy and security in mind. Our advantage are the following. For example, we don't use big tech platform, so we're not on Amazon Web Service, we're not on Google or Microsoft Cloud. We've never developed under those platforms. That makes us independent in terms of privacy and also less prone to hacking because we have never developed our code in open source. So that's kind of one of the advantages. And all our data is stored in Switzerland, which gives you the strictest data privacy laws in the world. So if you were a business or somebody who doesn't want to have your data mined, because we don't do data mining at all, you would use maybe secure mail as opposed to Gmail or Office 365. And then definitely you don't want to use WhatsApp when you conduct business. You want to use secure messenger. That's pretty much what we do.
Very interesting. Tell me a little bit about you, your history, and what drew you to privacy.
So I am from Switzerland as well. Swiss people are very private. It's a nature. It's in our DNA. It's in the Constitution. I've had personal experiences with privacy breach, so it kind of drove me into developing these solutions for people who really need some protection. Because our data is out there and it's for sale all the time, there's no service you can go to. I mean, I'm even afraid of giving my email. We all have maybe a couple sets of email, one for the mailing list when you sign up for something, and then you want to have your private email. But what we don't realize is all those other email services, they data mine you. So I wanted to offer, basically, we wanted to be the privacy king when it comes to your data and communication. So we developed the system about 8-10 years ago in Switzerland, and then we started to push internationally. We have a couple of telecom operators as partners. America Mobile, owned by the Carlos Slim and his family. They have about 300 million subscribers based in Mexico. And then we just signed a deal with Axiata Group, which is the largest South Asian telecom operator. And we're growing the business like that because privacy and security are becoming a big concern. And I'll address these hacking. The basic concept of how come we hear about all these hacks and email phishing and so forth. The problem is that the big companies, the big three or the big five, you used to have the big three in the auto industry. Now you have the big five in data and digitization. You have Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Facebook Group, which is WhatsApp as well. So what they do is they make a lot more money on data mining your data. And it's not like, when you hear about a hacking, it's not like a company is trying to hack you. A company will buy your data. Their priority is to exploit that data within less than 30 days or it becomes stale, and they don't really protect it. And then you have a hacker hacking that business, let's say, that needed to target you for something. And that's how our data gets leaked out. It may or may not be directly Facebook or Google or Microsoft, even though they also have their breach, but it's all the other companies that buy your data that don't protect it. Yeah. So it's really like it's like a tornado upon another tornado, and it just never stops. Hacking and breaches are not going to stop. They're going to increase. I don't know if some of us know this, but data breach costs the global economy over $6 trillion US a year in lost income or damages. So that's a pretty big economic damage.
It's huge. Yes, absolutely. And I believe it, actually, because I cover a lot of these things. So now you earlier closed your offering. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so we did go public in July 2019 in Canada. Then we went listed in 2019, October, in the OTCQB under SWISF. And then we just completed actually our third and final retail offering. We have about close to $5 million Canadian, $4 million in the bank, no debt. No convertible, so we're in a very enviable cash position. We have a couple of overseas funds that are also looking at injecting more money. What we're going to do with this is we have a huge U.S. launch coming up. We believe that the U.S. really is a big market for us, and there's no solution like ours. So we raised 2.2 million, 2 million U.S. essentially last week. We closed with a bunch of overseas strategic investors, and now we closed the retail funding. We're open now to institutions. So the other thing I wanted to mention back to our solution, we're the only company that doesn't ask for your phone number when you sign up for the app. So, you would go to secure.com, you buy the solution, because you cannot buy it directly on App Store. You have to buy it from us first, and you download the apps, and then you don't give your phone number. That's also the most prominent way how you're going to get hacked on your device. We also don't upload your address book all of a sudden. Some of us may have switched from Facebook to Signal in the last few months, and if you're on Signal, you may notice sometime an alert that one of your friends on your address book is on Signal. So there's zero privacy. They're telling you that they're on the other application now. And that's because everything runs on this system of you give us your phone number, then we have your data, we can track you, we have all your address book as well, and we can track them. So that's very unique. We're also the only system in the world that lets you message a non-secure user. So if you're a realtor, for example, there was a breach recently on a huge mortgage broker. So if you're a realtor and you have some clients and you want to email them and chat with them without using WhatsApp, you can chat with them without them having to download our app at all, and then you can terminate the conversation on a self-destruct timer when it's all done. So I think those are very unique features of our solution.
Now, you mentioned Switzerland, and you have your private servers in Switzerland, right? So that is helping protect privacy. And can you explain how that works?
Sure. So the first thing we need to know is we are on our own infrastructure. If you are in Switzerland and you're using AWS, Amazon Web Service, who happens to be in the same data center company where we are, or Microsoft or Google, you are not protected by Swiss law necessarily, because the Cloud Act, which is a US law, dictates that no matter where your data resides, if you're using a US technology service or platform, you are basically prone to subpoena and your data is duplicated in the US. Because we're not on those platforms, we own our own servers. We rent space co-location in the data centers that houses the United Nations, the World Health Organization, the big banks, and we comply with Swiss law. And because we have our own thing, we don't need to have the Cloud Act. So the Swiss data protection laws are the strictest in the world. It is it's a penal crime to divulge your IP address without your consent. It's very, very strict in Switzerland. So you have the legal protection, the platform protection, our proprietary technology, and then these privacy by design, we call it, like self-destruct timer, deleting to bare metal. So when you go on WhatsApp and you say, delete the message for me, it's not really deleted on their server. They already data mined you. We don't do any data mining whatsoever, none. We don't even have cookies on our website. So we make money the old-fashioned way in Switzerland by charging you money. This is how banks make money too. They still do that in Switzerland, believe it or not. There's no free anything in Switzerland. And it's the same thing for your data. If you want protection, in the old days, you used to put your money in Switzerland before the international exchange rules came in 2018, and nobody even knew you existed. This is the same thing here. If you want your data private, you come to Secure. You pay us $10 a month for an email and a messaging app with 100 gigabytes of the best multi-redundancy storage. All the features you can imagine. Our Secure Send feature that lets you send an email to anybody in the world without having any kind of prying eye on it. I mean, we have some really cool features. And you pay us $10 a month, and that's it. Yeah. The Messenger is launching next week at $30 a year or $3 a month. We may do some promotional campaign for $20 a year. I mean, who doesn't want to have their conversation a little bit protected and private? But you know that we're not going to data mine you at all.
Looking forward to more conversations. Thank you so much, Alain, for coming.
Thank you, Jay.
And we'll get updates soon.
Thanks, everyone, for watching.